What's up guys, Sloth here, and today's video is about starting to play League. I'm gonna cover every question you might have, everything you need to know, everything you need to do, just everything you want to know about League in general. Note here that League also stands for ranked in Smite, so you can use both of those pretty much. That said, grab a cup of tea, lean back in your chair and listen to what I have to tell you. First up, a little disclaimer, some serious words for you. If you play ranked or you intend to play ranked, do not BM. Whenever you spend time typing, insulting someone, flaming someone, blaming someone, it's wasting time for your team. It's time that the enemy team can use to do stuff, to cover some objectives, to just kill that mid-harpies that you didn't get because you were busy typing, everything. You're not getting any advantage out of it. The only thing you do is setting your team behind and potentially piss off your teammates, so there's no team play anymore anyways. This has to be said every single time the topic League comes up, simply because it's so important. Thank you. Ideally, you should master every single god in the game. Mastering stands for getting them to mastery rank 1 here, not playing them perfectly. Most people don't want to do that. If you can't do that, it's alright. There are some gods that are not played very often. In that case, check the current tier lists. I'm not gonna say any gods here because they change so often that you just have to check up by the time you're starting. Check what the tier lists say, what the top picks down to A tier are, and master all of those. If you can't even do that, then you should really consider if it's time for you to start playing ranked yet. But if you're absolutely sure you have to play ranked now, then make sure you mastered at least 4 gods in every role. That means 4 potential supports, 4 ADCs, and so on and so on. Bear in mind that if you only master 4 gods per role, your team might be really pissed with you because there's that one god that one guy wanted to play and you can't trade. This can already be problematic. It might also happen that all the gods you want to play are banned, especially with guardians. So be very aware of what you're doing when you only master such a small pool of gods. The question of how many gods you should be able to play well gets asked quite often. There's no definite answer to it. But what I would recommend is get a basic grip of every role, so in case you have to play a role, you're able to play it. Then choose one role that you're gonna use as your main role, the one that you're gonna be perfect at and you're gonna end up in the top league with or whatever, and then find a backup role. For me, that's usually playing jungle as a main role and solo as a backup role if jungle is taken. You could, basically if you're playing middle, solo should be fine for you as well in most situations. If you're playing ADC, you should have a basic idea of how support works well. If you're playing support, you should have a basic idea of how ADC works well. So have that one pocket role, so to speak, if your role is taken by somebody above you. The next important thing is pick order. You need to understand how pick order works. You can either watch a video on it or a stream of somebody playing League. I'm just going to tell you the basics really quick. The first one to ban is order side, then chaos side, then order side, then chaos side, and the first pick also goes to order. Then chaos picks twice, order picks twice again, chaos picks once, second ban phase. First ban in the second ban phase goes to chaos, second ban goes to order, first pick goes to chaos this time as well. Then 2 picks go to order and 1 more pick goes to chaos. I just run this down really quick because it's much easier if you look at it somewhere and I don't explain it in detail. Just understand how banning and picking works before going into ranked. The most important thing to do in the lobby is communicate. If you're AFK in the lobby or you don't talk, people don't know what you want, what you can do, what you cannot do, and they cannot help you. Tell them if you can't play a specific role. Most of the time they'd rather give you another role than lose the game just because you can't play support. Tell them that you're a qualifier. Let them know. They're not going to kill you for that, but they might be more understanding of your mistakes. They might help you. They might give you recommendations. They might just communicate with you if you communicate with them. They might do bans that you would like to have, anything like that. But if you don't talk, it's not going to happen. Also, when it comes to picking, trust your team. If you pick a certain god into another god and your team tells you, mate, that is a bad pick in that situation, you're basically giving them a free counter pick, then trust them. These people have most likely played in League for a while and they know which gods counter which, and you probably don't have the same experience with counter picking as they do. They might go for a specific lineup with the whole team and everything, and you're not that experienced, so just trust them on that and don't doubt them. Even if you play Kali well, if the team says, look, Kali is not good in that lineup, Kali is not as strong at the moment as she should be, then maybe they got a point. Don't be like, yeah, I'm the best Kali EU, no problem, I'm gonna win this game, whatever. That's not gonna help. These people are usually not completely stupid, and if they tell you something like you should pick another god, it most of the time has a reason. If you're extremely good with a god, that might be different for you, and you might just say, nah, look, I can play that god really, really well, and I know how to counter my enemy. But that's not always the case. While in the lobby, you might feel uncomfortable voicing your opinion among other players that have played the game for much longer. That is okay too. If you don't want to talk more than necessary, that's totally fine. But at least let them know that you're reading what they're writing. Just write, yeah, hi guys, I'm new, I don't want to say much, but I got what you said, I read it all. Just so they know that you got the communication, you know what's going to happen when the game starts, if you're going to invade or whatever. This can be really important and turn around the first minutes of the game. So, write. Don't ever complain about a certain god not being banned or whatever. If you're gonna write, oh my god, Sarkette is not banned, the game is lost, OMG. Your team will hate you from the first minute on. And they probably had a reason not to ban her. There was probably some other god that they don't play well against or whatsoever. But there's no use in trying to complain about the bans after they are done. And at the same time you should understand that while the people you play with might actually have worse mechanical skill than you, they most certainly have more experience playing League. And this is a big difference. So if they're in the lobby and they ban that god and they pick that god, don't doubt them already. They probably have a certain idea of what they're doing. Learn to use the voice-guided system. Just do it. Don't play ranked if you can't use VGS. That said, you don't need to know everything about it. You need to know the basic important commands like enemy missing, enemy incoming, attack the gold fury and so on. Not every little detail. But learn the VGS. You need to have it in your muscle memory before you even consider playing League. Curse voice is one of the topics people like to debate a lot. I'll just put it very simple. If it's possible for you and you feel comfortable using curse voice, there's no reason not to do so. That said, some people don't like using curse voice. That's okay. Consider if it's still okay for you to go in there and listen to calls. That might just be helpful anyways. And if not, learn to use the VGS even better. The only thing you should never do is not use curse when you can use it. I've had some people in my game saying, oh yeah, now I'm hanging out with my mates in TeamSpeak. That is pretty stupid. If you want to play League, you should have the mentality that you want to win this game at any cost. Well, not at any cost, but if possible, and have the best chances to do so. By lowering your team's chances, by just going into TeamSpeak with your mates, getting distracted and not knowing what your team calls, you're setting your team back by a ton. Don't do it. Either don't use any voice communication at all, or use curse with your team. Let's talk a bit about stage fright. Some people are really worried when starting ranked. They don't know if they're gonna be able to do it, it's a lot more pressure, it's a lot more on the table, whatsoever, blah blah blah. There's one very simple solution. Play Joust League. Joust League is League, so you still know it counts for something, but it's just yourself. You can't, like, if you fail, you fail, but it doesn't affect anyone else but you. And it's also very good practice for solo lane anyways. There's one little advice that I wanted to give you before you queue. Be aware that not accepting a match, basically just not clicking accept, already means leaving a match, losing one of your qualifiers. I did that mistake, I didn't know that. I thought if you don't accept, it just runs out, you maybe get like a 5 minutes deserter, but you lose everything you'd lose if you lose a match. Be aware of that. Duo queuing is one of the best decisions you can make. You basically get a teammate that knows how you play, you know how he plays, you can be in voice together without any problems, and so on and so on. I can only recommend it, especially if you feel like you're getting queued with people that are not as good as the people you should be queuing with. One thing you should be aware of though is that you don't get any privilege out of it. Some people think just because they duo queue, they can get support and ADC. It's not gonna happen. It's very likely that you can get support because that's usually not taken. But ADC might just be taken by the top pick and there's nothing you can do about it. There is no set number on how many conquest matches you should have played before going into League. There are estimations of what would be good or what not. I can personally say I didn't play too many and that was a bad decision. What you should realize is, the more time you spend playing in casual, the more profitable it is for your ranked game. For one simple reason. You're never gonna be able to jump up as fast as you are during your qualifiers. So, by that logic, it would be the best decision to play casual as long as possible, to get as good as possible, to master as many gods as you can in casual as possible, before jumping into ranked. Simply because you're gonna save time in the end. If you play bad in your qualifiers and you end up in bronze, it's gonna take you forever and ever and ever to get up there. If you play casual instead for another 50 games, then you get a lot better and you actually start out in gold, middle gold, gold 3. You saved a lot of time. So really consider if you're ready for ranked and if it's worth it for you. It's usually worth waiting. The only situation where you're kind of forced to jump into it if it goes towards the end of the season, which at this point is still a fair bit away, and there are gonna be rewards for participating in the league in the season. Other than that, the moment you should really start playing league is when you're A, so good that you're only bored in casual games, or B, you're completely fed up with not having bans and having double picks and having OP guards that you can't ban out and whatever. Some words on things that happen when you've done your first few qualifiers. You're gonna get placed a little higher, a little lower, depending on your player skill. What you need to know is you're probably not where you are because of your skill. Most likely, you've been very lucky in your qualifiers or very unlucky. It happens a lot. Qualifiers are not really a decent way to somehow figure out someone's skill. You can just keep on trying your best, but don't think just because you won those 3 qualifiers you're the god and you know everything about Smite. Or if you lost 3 of them, you should never play this game again. You can just be completely unlucky. This happens a lot. At the same time, you still need to know that people have more experience. When in your ranked game, a Sylvanas all of a sudden comes up and takes your purple, he does it for a reason. He has understood that Sylvanas has stronger push on the first levels than any ADC except for Rama, I think. Or maybe a few, but most ADCs with the purple buff, and therefore he takes it. And just because you played those 3 ranked games, it doesn't mean that you know better than him. And what I need to mention again, because it always has to be mentioned, is don't BM in your games. If you're gonna lose your qualifier, don't be like, oh my god, you're losing my qualifier for me. No, you lost that qualifier. The other person lost as well, but they lost their own game, so to say. And never forget to buy wards in this game. Wards win games. Thank you. If there's anything else that I didn't cover the way you felt I should have, anything you want to know, please let me know in the comments below and I will answer that question to my best knowledge. Other than that, thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a sub or a like if you feel like it. If you don't, I don't mind, it's a sloth life after all. Duke Sloth, out.